Hello and welcome back to Deconstructed. I'm your host Sam Anima Mackenzie, and with me, for the first time in a fucking long time, it's Harry Nero Richards. Harry, mate, how you doing?
Yeah, nothing's changed. Literally nothing's changed. It's
it's
like it was yesterday.
A lot has changed for me. I've got a new gaff. It's part of the reason why we took so long to do an episode, and totally not a combination of work, laziness, and other things. Anyway, it doesn't matter now, because we're back, and I still don't give a fuck how your life is going.
Yeah,
so let's talk about...
there's no point trying.
No, so let's talk about Counter-Strike, because that's basically all our friendship has ever been. And today, I thought we'd talk about FURIA and the best Portuguese team that FURIA could put together, because right now they're just a bit shit, and they're kind of sick of them being a bit shit. I quite like Que-Serato. And he used to like some other people on that team. Art's obviously quite fun, and Drop is him. Now they're both gone. The team's still shit. So, question is, what is the best Portuguese team that they can make? Because there's probably two ways of looking at it. There's the realistic one, because all these players have massive fucking buyouts. South America's fucked like that. And the fun one where we just pick anything. So my first question to you, Harry, is what players would you keep, mate?
Que-Serato. Que-Serato. That one. Justin, probably. But
really?
Unfortunately, it's the real world. Honestly, Yuri's been fine. Yuri's been trending up. Yuri's not what he used to be, but he's been trending up. And like he's been playing like a lot of those kind of down roles. Since Fallen's gone back to IGLing and Art's left, Yuri's been able to be like the passive pack player, which is something they need. If they're going to have an all-ping IGL, which, like 600 grand later, you got to do. And I think this is the thing. Like, if you're being pragmatic about it, you probably just keep the core. And I actually kind of rate Cello. I don't know what it is. He's just got unreal first bullet aim, and he's just going to entry for them, and it's fine. The issue with the Cello move was always the clash with Art. So honestly, realistically, they're going to keep this four. They're going to keep this quartet until Fallen retires, probably. But I can see why, based on what you said about the buyouts. But in the dream world, yeah, it's Que-Serato, maybe Yuri, and then a completely new core. Because of course it is. It's 2024 now. Let's move on.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way. But the thing I'd add in is, because you've mentioned them keeping those four out of necessity because of buyouts and whatnot. But the thing I'd want to add in is, is it that much of a bad thing? Because when you look at when Fallen and Cello came in, right, that team was never going to work because, as you said, Cello and Art had just ridiculous level of clash that one of them was going to get fucked over. And of course it wasn't Art because he was just cancerous to this team. Really fun player to watch when he was good. Ever since then, he's just the worst thing going. But
he was self-to-fail. Once Fallen was in, completely self-to-fail.
Of course, but he was failing on his own before that. So
yes.
So that team was never going to work. That five was never going to work. You then have Art taking over IGLing from Fallen within about a month. That was never going to work. That was stupid. So
Gary's still behind them, of course, as well. Brazilian Groove.
Yeah, great guy. So if you've got those four players now and you get in a solid fifth, is it that bad? Could they succeed, or do you think that just that kind of necessity thing will still keep them maybe slightly better than they are now, but it won't elevate them to what we kind of expect from FURIA, where we see them in playoffs and we see them doing well at majors and not going 0-3?
You see, that's the hard thing. It's when we did a Fallen episode. I think it was literally about where should Fallen go or something. Last time.
We do it
we said,
a day before the Fallen, the FURIA rumour came out.
Yeah, I think we knew he was going to FURIA, but did the episode anyway. Yeah, it was paid from other people.
Yeah.
And when we did that, we basically said Brazilian scene's kind of rushed and blah 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 blah. There's not loads of obvious talent, and fuck it, Fallen's probably still a fine Awper compared to the other Brazilian Awpers at the time, and he's probably the best IGL in the region. Just stick him in and see what happens. but a lot has changed since then. I mean, Copenhagen showed that, like, these Brazilian teams are legit as fuck. Like I remember saying a lot about Imperial because you just, like, it was local competition, but you look at Imperial stats, like, before Copenhagen, and it's not a surprise how well they played. Like, they were farming Brazil, like, farming. And, like, there's Pain have played better than them as well. They're, like, genuinely Imperial. They like, because, I do those graphics.
No, I wasn't. There was a very, very strange noise outside my house. No, sorry, I wasn't.
No, it didn't come through. Come through. You're fine. But Imperial, like, they broke all my graphics because their round win percentage was like 60%. They just broke all my graphics pre-major. It's like made Spirit look shit. It's like, okay, great.
And they killed the stats guy.
Yeah, so Imperial looking great, trending up. Pain obviously still have Biggie Zero, so they're obviously amazing. They've just signed the 17-year-old nuts kid as well. Snow, keep an eye on him. He's crazy. MIBR just won Melbourne, which was a very legitimate tournament.
Exceedingly legitimate with that team list. With such teams as Sunday School. Yeah,
yep,
that was good.
KZG.
Featuring Lemmy, thought he was dead, but
Rooster have some talent. And then there's Saw as well. 2024, Saw have emerged, like, and been pretty good. The Legacy core will always be interesting in its pieces, if not its actual overall picture. Like, there's a lot of pieces here. There's a lot of pieces, and, like, even below that, there's just so much talent in Brazil. And FURIA, you're not too big to fail. They're dropping. They're like the 4th best Brazilian team now. CS2 has been great for kind of usurping the dominance that like teams like FURIA would have in a partnered system and blah blah blah. Like, more tournaments, more opportunities, everything. It's just exposing this FURIA team a lot. So, in a very long-winded way of saying, yeah, I think they will keep the 4-man core, but I don't think they're going to be significantly better than, like, an Imperial or a Pain afterwards. Like, I think, like, which 5th can you get? Like, we're going to talk about that obviously in more detail, but with the profile that you need, it's kind of like the lurker anchor. It's because Keisarato is a lurker anchor, but he's a star lurker anchor. You kind of need the more bitchy star, like a lurker anchor, like the kind of, the T-side lurker roles that aren't as fun. And then on CT side, there's the anchor roles that aren't as fun. And when Keisarato does get to play Con or Mirage, your jump's playing on B and Cello's playing A, because that's the type of player Cello is as well. He can do both. So that'll work. So that's the player you're looking for. And there's loads. There's loads in Brazil. A lot of them I really rate as well. But then you look at the overall 5-man team that you get, even if you add an Arizose, a Decency, a Lato, whatever, whoever you add, you look at the overall picture and you're like, comparing it to these European juggernauts, and it's always going to be the same problem. You're going to need a special in-game leader to do that. And is 2024 Fallen that guy? I don't know. Know.
Well, let's come back to that at the end, because that 5th piece is currently down for us to speak about last. So let's start with Fallen, because that's where you left that there. So Fallen, for me, is a bit of an odd one. I think Fallen's at a point where his IGL is probably not going to be consistent, but when they've got
it's hard to know, right?
To really put into a tournament, like, I think Fallen's in this weird space for me where I think when you look back at last year and what Fallen did last year, he got the FURIA move probably halfway because of the run Imperial went on at last spring finals, where they very nearly made it to the final, and they looked pretty good back then. Like, they did look good.
Yep.
But I think when you're a team like Imperial, you've probably got more that you can put into these type of events than when you're a team like FURIA, where you're just at these events more often. That's my thing with Fallen. Is like, is he capable of being that consistent tier 1 IGL now? Or is it more of that, like, tier 2, tier 1.5? Like, you're going to be at, like, 3 or 4 tier 1 events a year, and you're probably going to punch above your weight. Like, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, the pressure on the roads, like, it's only going to get worse next year as well. I think, like, him extending his career is always one of those weird ones, because it's kind of like talking about Glaive at the end of Astralis, and I think, aside from Kato, it's still the same story of it's clearly so hard to find the motivation. Like, clearly so hard. And I think you've got to give him a good run now, because he never got that run because of the Art Gary combo kind of, no, we can't play like you want to play, blah, 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 blah. Like, you do kind of need to give him a chance. They haven't looked terrible, but with and they have a terrible fifth right now, and they nearly made playoffs at EPL, so it's not like doom and gloom, but yeah, you're looking at it. Case had a 1.35 rating, by the way, and they just didn't make playoffs. It's still the same story. It's still the same story. You can have any IGL in Brazil, and I think it would still be very difficult, because you are looking at, okay, so you cut Fallen, you sign one of the Awpers who are not proven tier 1 at all. None of them are. Absolutely none of them. None of the names you can bring out. You can say Henny, I'm not having it. He's not proven tier 1 in 2024. He's had a good few tournaments. Add him to FURIA, you never know what could happen. Also, I'm sure there's quite a lot of bad blood there, to be honest, given what Art said on stream. So you remove Fallen, you need a new Awper who's a risk, and then you need a new IGL, and then there's like Big U. Big U is clearly really good. Vinny's clearly really good, but they're still both very new IGLs and like clearly more motivated. Clearly should be like the income leaders for Brazil in CS2. Like, so far, those two are the big names. So you stick them in. But Fallen just brings so much. And this is the thing. His overall numbers are not that bad, actually. Like, CT side especially, he's fine. He's like 116 on CT side. Like, he gets his numbers on CT side. He's not as good as you want an Awper to be, but no Portuguese-speaking Awper is as good. And I think on the calling, like, there's always that base level of calling. Like, in a team like this, like, there's going to be a lot of mid-rounding from the FURIA players as well. And you just have to worry a little bit about why Fallen was so easily cucked. Like, if you spend 600k on Fallen and a month later he's not your England leader, like, that's... We can blame Art and Gary. But I'm not having it. Like, the players must have said, like, we don't like this new style. And now they're having to play it because the management have cut Art, right? Like, so... Because I think... I don't know.
Well, I think there's two things there that are like equal level of worry. You've got what you just said, where I find it hard to believe that it was only Art and Gary that were like, nah, actually, this style, bit shit, this. Preferred it when we were just all dead after 10 seconds of a round. Like, I really struggle to believe that was just two people usurping the fucker that just spent 600-700k on. So, that then leads to, if you're Fallen, if it was that, or even if it wasn't, why the fuck are you letting this happen? Like, you are the greatest in-game leader in your country's history, one of the greatest in-game leaders in the history of the game, and after... I mean, I don't have this in front of me, but what? 2 months? Was it 2 months before Art was IGLing again?
I think it was public by at least, like, Esper that Art was leading again, yeah.
It fucking wasn't long, I can tell you that.
Yeah,
it definitely was not a long amount of time. So, if he's letting that happen, does he have confidence in his abilities to IGL? Because we've seen before what a lack of confidence, like, and self-belief from an IGL can do. It's probably the one role, maybe more than Awper, that you need to believe in yourself the most. Because if not, you're just going to second-guess everything. Your rounds are going to be a fucking mess. So,
yeah,
that's my big concern with Fallen. Well, yeah, but so
he lost the dressing room in a month.
That's my big concern with Fallen. He's not whether he's a bad IGL. He's not whether these players can play in his system or whether they like the system. If they don't like the system, grow the fuck up. Like, you played like fucking idiots before. If someone's going to make you play better, good, you might actually fucking win something. But if Fallen doesn't believe in it himself, it's fucked. Like, he should not be a part of the conversation at all if he doesn't believe in it himself. And it's not something that they should then waste another, like, 6 months of Case Rato's career trying to figure that out, fix it, and, like, fix these fucking belief issues. Like, fuck that.
I think the system conversation is an interesting one because they're on the lookout for a new coach. Like, they're clearly going to sign a new coach. They even Like, this is why it feels like such a management decision to get rid of Art and Gary, honestly, like the way it was framed. And the shit they were talking about, like an international coach. Like, no, get a coach who could listen to comms, please. Like, stop doing this. So, well, what they put, but they're clearly looking.
Get fucked.
Like,
he's definitely not.
They're clearly looking for like external, like European tier 1 influence on the meta, because I just don't think that they see that coming from Fallen. Like this is not a guy who's going to sit all day watching demos trying to like work it out in the same way maybe Vinny did when he took up in-game leading. Like, it's just not. He's not that guy anymore. Clave isn't that guy anymore. They're not sitting in the server all day. They've got the bag. Like, they've got the bag. They've got the trophies. Who's asked? They're not doing that anymore. And yes, you have to stick with him for 6 months, but I think it was quite clear that they brought Fallen in because glorified captain, whatever, and then they very quickly realized he might still be a really good captain, like clearly a very good captain, but not a very good tactician. And I think that's why they removed him in the first place. And I think now is kind of like, what are you going to do now? Like, what's kind of going on now? I think I agree with you on that.
Let's go back to the money's no object idea, because we've obviously already said, like, realistically, it will be Fallen IGL in for the next 6 months, and what to fucking do about that?
Yeah, well, until he wants to leave.
Let's go to the money's no object approach. And we've already raised 2 names. And it's less so what I want to say about the quality of Vinny's IGL in or Biguzera's IGL in. Instead, there's 2 questions that I think are important. A, does Vinny solve 5th player issues? Or does someone else need to go or come in? And B, is Biguzera, with how good of a player he is, not just as an IGL, he's obviously a good IGL, but he's also one of the best players in the country, for FURIA to get back to being this premier Brazilian team, to get back to being a team where you look at them as playoff contenders, does Biguzera need to be on the team?
I really like what Vinny's doing. I know where you're coming from. I think Vinny would be easy to slot in because, like, he knows them all already. Like, we are in Dreamland, of course. We are in Dreamland, but it's fun to think about. So, like, yeah, Vinny still anchors on CT side. Like, he's not one of those IGLs that takes the star roles. Like, he's still anchoring. On T side, you just have Yuri and Kesararo in their roles that they played under Art. But the thing with Vinny is, and this is why I'm always going to favour Biguzera, is you look at it, so the entry pack, right? Say you keep Fallen as a captain, but not as the tactician. If that's already going to be weird. It's going to be the same situation they had with Art. It's going to be clashing. But you have an entry pack of Vinny and Cello with Fallen AWPing, like you're in trouble on the map control side. You're going to be in a lot of 3v5s. Whereas if you stick Biguzera in, then I think Cello becomes a perfect profile, because you look at Cello and it's kind of like the Tessus thing. Like, he'll entry for you. He's not the star in the entry pack, in the map control pack. I mean, like, he'll bomb site entry. That's his job. He gets the first bit of headshots. You give him an AK on ecos, and everyone's like, why doesn't Kesararo have the AK? And then Cello double entries of it. Like, he's that guy. So I think you stick Biguzera in there. Biguzera baiting Cello with, like, a supportive Awper. Fine. I'm fine with that. Genuinely, I'm fine with that. I think the worry would be that Biguzera is so good individually that if you sign him and keep Fallen, does Fallen still IGL? Like, probably. Like, I think you kind of need a full reset. You need Biguzera to come in and have full influence over players he's probably idolized, even though he's like a similar age. Like, players he looks up to, and he needs to be able to turn up and tell them what they're doing wrong. I think that's very difficult. And it'd be the same for Vinny. It's the same for Vinny. It's kind of like the G2 thing. Of why I was so shocked Hooksy worked out, because I was just like, when he picks up Hooksy, I was like, okay, Hooksy, like, he's good IGL. But how are you going to sit there in the demo and be like, Nico, what the fuck were you doing? Like, you're Hooksy. You've had one major playoffs. And I think, like, can Vinny and Biguzera turn up and do it? Like, maybe. But if Fallen's good, and maybe Fallen is good, like, now he's got a chance. If there's full buy-in to Fallen, you bet Fallen, they'll listen to fucking Fallen. At least, if they don't listen to Fallen, who would they listen to? So it's still a risk, and I think Biguzera is worth that risk. I think the players, like, the number one thing you look out for IGLs that's obvious from the outside is elevating players. Biggie Zero loses skulls, and people don't rate skulls as highly as maybe they did at the time because of what's happened since.
He might be a bit shit.
I still think he's good. I think it's a weird team. I think it's hard to judge. There's not enough aggression.
All right. Anyway, carry
on. Anyway, but look how good Payne have been since. Payne were not fancied at all pre-major. These players are, now they've got Snow. Maybe that's I think even they thought this isn't sustainable. When they weren't able to get Neeson out of his loan, they were okay, fuck it, we'll just sign a star player because this isn't going to work long term. These players, Lux, I really like Lux. He's really good. Kind of more of a cello vibe player in terms of his aggression. He wouldn't fit FURIA, but he's really good. I think. But this is Big Uzera developing it. This is Big Uzera developing players, and it's just such a different project coming into FURIA and improving. Could he do it? I think he probably could. And anyway, he's such a good fragger. It's fine. You have the Big Uzera problem is he plays a lot of K-Soraro spots on CT side. And on the maps that K-Soraro wants to be a star, then Big Uzera plays there. So you can have Yuri anchoring on half the maps, Big Uzera rotating on all of them, and then K-Soraro and Yuri flipping. But that's fine. So yeah, get bigger. He just elevates players.
Okay, so we figured out a new IGL. We'll come back to make a team of 5 towards the end, but that's 2. We'll call it 2 for now because K-Soraro is going nowhere and Big Uzera is going nowhere.
Yes.
So we'll call that.
Yes.
We'll call that 2 for now.
So
let's move on to. Yeah, I feel bad for Vinny, but I will. Let's move on to Awper then. Which is an interesting one. It's a fun one because you've got Fallen, who's not a bad Awper, not a great Awper, but if he's not IGLing, what's the fucking point? Is kind of the main thing. Is he going to be elevated by not IGLing? No. Is he good enough to Awper not IGL?
We see his level.
No. So, Fallen for me, outside of the realistic aspect, should just be out of the conversation. So then we've got 3 names, and we've already kind of spoke about it, but this is why we get to the Portuguese-speaking team, not just the best Brazilian team, is you've got Story, NQZ, and Henny. So
yeah,
I'm gonna let you go through those names however you like. But what's your thoughts on those 3 players?
That none of them are slam dunks, honestly. I mean, Henny is, for my money, the best one there still. Clearly still got a lot to give, but he's not going back to FURIA, is he? That's the full pipe dream. Even with unlimited money, I don't think so. I think maybe if you get a Vinny Henny package deal, then that could be fine, but I don't think so. NQZ is very young and doesn't always frag as much as you'd want an Awper 2 at tier 1. The Payne team is really, really good, but NQZ isn't setting the world on fire. It is fully a Big Uzera project, right? It's Big Uzera and a supporting cast of 19-year-olds. That's what we're looking at here. It's not obvious that NQZ can step up. But again, if we are signing Big Uzera, then signing NQZ as well could be really fun because it clearly works. I think the idea of keeping that combination alive is good. If you go for Vinny, you go for Henny. If you go for Big Uzera, you go for NQZ. But Story is a fun one. I've seen a few people criticize it and say his style isn't completely replicable long term. I've seen a few of that, but the raw numbers are just really good. And this is in Europe as well. He's not farming Brazil. He's actually just got really, really good raw numbers. So that's why that's the fun pick. And then we'll come on to it. I think, again, we're doing the package deal thing again. I think you get Story and Aras Dosse, and that's alongside Fallen and not Fallen, alongside Yuri and K-Soraro, and then that quartet is amazing. That's a really amazing quartet. And then you just get an IGL. So I said they're all good options. I think the best player there is still Henny. I think the worst player there is NQZ. But yeah, depends on the IGL you pick up. I think I would like to see Story a little risk taken or story.
Okay, because the question I was going to ask about Henny's, with what you were saying about a map control pack of Bigu and Cello, is Henny the right man for that? Because
I think he's shown he can play it very differently, and he needs to now. Like Imperial Henny does seem much more mature. It's kind of like what people talk about as antivirus. Like you still see flashes of the old like nut job from 2016, but it is a more mature style. I think he would work fine in that pack. Yeah.
Okay, then story. With what FURIA have said about international coach, we get this narrative a lot, and especially because of what Yekindar did to Liquid, but you get this thing about European influence in the Americas, as it's probably likely to become not just North America. Would Story give enough of this European influence than having a coach as well? Like,
that's just reminded me actually.
They need.
Portuguese Saul's coach. I'm trying to find it. Where is it? Saul's coach gave an interview saying he would be very interested in joining FURIA. Who was Saul's old coach? He's left that team now. Nabowow. Okay, Nabowow. So he coached Saul for a while, I think. What did he play for Saul? Yeah, so he's coached Saul since like 2023, and he left in May. I think he would be a good idea because it's like you're saying, it's the European influence.
He left in May last year or in the last 5 days?
May this year, just now.
Oh, he's going to FURIA.
He left on the 2nd of May.
Surely he's going to FURIA.
Well, this is the thing. It's like it was phrased as Saul kicking him. Like his tweet said, "I'm still a bit speechless." So I think Saul kicked him, maybe. So maybe that's not actually as good as I first thought when I just heard like, "Oh, he's free agent now."
Yeah.
He did say in an interview that he was interested in FURIA. Because like, obviously, like who wouldn't be? But
in 3 weeks' time, after he's being kicked, he's on FURIA. Yeah, sound.
Like, I don't know if he's even good because this is the thing with coaches. You never know. But I think that's a cool idea for like a European coach who's immersed in the meta who won't have like too much of an issue. Because I think it just seems really fun, the idea of merging the kind of Portuguese-Brazilian teams together. Because I just do think Saul just did look really good. Like their individuals looked really good. I think it was the experienced players who let them down, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at those experienced players' ratings, so they're not great, are they?
But they're in all the roles, man. Like this is the thing with we'll talk about Rosasa later, but he's not in the star roles. It's not even like Queserato star ranking. No, he's actually just in the bitch roles.
He's just very good.
Like, yeah, it's stupid.
I can't think what the first.
Ujux is really good as well, honestly.
Yeah, like, he's very good.
That core is nuts. Like it should probably stay together and just keep Matthias IGLing and kick Romans for literally anyone.
Like, I can't remember what the first game I watched. Maybe it was like Saw VP or something like that. And Aras Dosse just like
they play VP all the time.
Destroyed people on Overpass. I was like, oh, this guy's legit.
Boom.
This isn't like him playing good on a map. Like he's fucking legit. And then he's just every time I watch Saw, it's just like, oh, even if you're having a bad game, you've just had 3 rounds this game where you've just won the game by yourself. Sound. You're just a very good player. But yeah. We'll get back to him later because he's just fucking good. I like him a lot. And we'll go back to Awpers, and this is going to end up just being Saw with Queserato and Big Azira. But Story.
There's worse things. Let's move to Europe, guys.
Story take FURIA to the next level. Or do you think Story has the same limiter? I don't think
any of them do.
Do you think he has the same limiter as the rest of them?
I don't think any of them are better than, like, the average Russian author. Well, I don't know, man. Like, there's so many good authors out there in Europe.
Well, who are you calling the average Russian author?
Like, I don't know, dude. The guy who just got banned for match fixing. He'd probably be the best Brazilian author. Like, this is... Kokoshiman. Put Kokushima on Fury. But this is what I mean. Like, this is a team that picks up fucking, like, junior because there's no Awpers. Like, what are we talking about here? They're good. Like, they've got good numbers. Like, Story's got good numbers. He's got a good numbers for a solid European Awper. But if your Awper's not getting a 1.15 rating in Tier 2 Europe, like, what's the point? Like, Smooya turns out for 1 EPL and drops, like, 1.20. Like, guys, this... None of them are slam dunk Tier 1. This will improve our game instantly. It's just the thing with Fallen is, yes, he's clearly washed as fuck. He's been washed since 2017, like, individually. But because he's on the AWP, like, you don't notice it as much. Like, on CT side, he'll still just go, like, 10 and 8 on CT side. It'll just be fine. So I don't think it's a guarantee, because how old's Story? Story's a child. Like, I'm gonna find it. Like, he's not old. He's not old at all.
Strawberry's a child.
Okay, he's 22. He's 22, but he's played in Tier 1 for like a week. NQZ is like 19, and it's really cool when you interview him, but he's 19. Henny is still Henny. Like, he's more mature.
Yeah, he's 28.
Still Henny.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, he's obviously not a child. Obviously, Henny's not a child. But he might be at heart, I guess. Maybe.
Who has the highest peak?
Highest peak? I mean, Henny. If things went differently for Henny, he would be that Tier 1 Brazilian Awper that they needed the whole time. Like, if he didn't get cut because he didn't want to go vegan or whatever the fuck it was, like this is... He's still here and he's still a Tier 1 Awper for FURIA. Like, he was a bit late to practice, but you let Ronaldo be late to practice. Like, it's not like Drop was being late to practice. Just let Henny be late to practice.
Killed his career a couple of times to play with his dog shit brother.
No, the whole thing was that was a lie.
Was it
the whole thing in Art Stream? The whole thing in Art Stream was
Didn't
that
he do
they
that
cut
like
Henny
multiple times though?
He did it before, but the FURIA one is the one everyone remembers
right.
because FURIA management publicly said that, he's leaving because he wants to play with his brother. And it's like, we were only half lying. But FURIA cut Henny before he went to leave and play with his brother. They cut it. They cut Henny because he wasn't meeting, like, the performance standards required of, like, FURIA management. It was, like, full of straws.
Fucking rubbish. Rubbish player. Lucas, mate. Rubbish player.
Which Lucas are you talking about?
Henny's brother, mate.
Oh, of course. Lucas won. Of course.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't realise I had to specify that within the context.
Yeah, no, I was just... My brain just died for a second there. But yeah, he's obviously terrible.
That's how shit he is. You couldn't even fucking remember he existed or what you were talking about. It's fucking awful.
Oh, dude. He's terrible. He's terrible.
So bad.
And it's silly. It's silly of Henny to have gone to that team when he got cut. But he shouldn't have been cut. He shouldn't have been cut. Oh, it was like... Wasn't it Oplano?
Was that the one with, like, KNG and... what's his name?
Yeah,
BSM?
it's complete nonsense, man. It's Oplano.
Like, one person who couldn't even play a major, the other person who couldn't fucking keep his head in check.
2021, wasn't it? Like, KNG, Lucas, Leo_DRK and VSM, like that type. It's that team.
That's a fucking rubbish team.
Henny will always be the what if, and as much as he looks motivated again for CS2, like, it's a risk that FURIA are not going to take. Like, the management are not going to take that risk. So he's got the highest ceiling. I'm still convinced that he's the best of the three.
Okay, so just for the sake of it, because sometimes you flip flop. That's who you are. I'd like you to lock in a third name, please. Bigazera, Caserato, and an Awper, please, sir.
No, but it's so hard. For out of server reasons, I might have to lock in Story. But Henny is the best player. Can I just say Henny's the best? Henny's the best player.
Can you just ignore the bullshit?
Henny. Okay. We're ignoring the bullshit.
Henny, cool. Right. So
such a pipe dream already.
You'll notice I'm leaving out Yuri, but we'll get into that in a bit. Because let's first talk about the fifth player, right? Now, when we were talking about this fifth player, we were doing it on the basis, and we've spoke about the best Brazilian teams, like the best Portuguese-speaking teams, a couple of times recently, and every time you've said to me, Bigazera, Caserato, Yuri, Henny, and then one of these three players, which is Lato, Decenti, and Arasdose.
Yeah.
But based on
and I've mentioned Decenti
based on what
as
we've
well.
said, I just said his name, Harry. Thanks for listening, mate.
Oh, not Decenti. Which one am I? No, I'm thinking of Dumao. Dumao's been anchoring this year.
Okay, and also, like, we're
Sorry,
throwing
not very
Drop
helpful,
into
but yeah.
we're throwing Drop into the ring because he is that guy. But
Right.
if we've got Caserato, Bigazera, Yuri, and Henny, would you take any of those players, or would you take Cello?
See, this is the hard part, is if you're keeping Yuri, you need an aggressive player on T side because we've picked up Biggie Zero. Biggie Zero and Yuri, like, honestly, kind of want them in the same T role. The kind of like baiting map control player. Like, that's what I want Yuri to be doing. That's what he's doing right now. Even though he can do like the flexi lurk. Like he did
Yuri
the
not
flexi
just
lurk a
be
lot of the
naff?
time.
Can you not just be naff?
What,
or
anchor?
Yeah.
But then you sign like a star aggressor. And then that's weird because Biggie Zero and a star aggressor isn't really the vibe either. Like Biggie Zero kind of...
No, but...
Biggie Zero kind of needs a bitch with him in the pack, and then you need an anchor on CC. I don't think
Yeah, but
Yuri's
this
like...
This is... Okay, but this is what I mean.
It's
Can you
easier
not
to
have...
fit Yuri in with Vinny, for example.
Yeah, fine,
is
but
my
can
thinking.
you not have Cello be Tesses, Big U be Stout, and then Yuri be Shush? Is that not doable?
Yeah. Well, this is the thing with Cello. You need Cello, right? You can't put in Arasdose, and that's what I'm saying. I'm saying Cello would be fine, but Arasdose wouldn't.
Okay.
That's kind of what I'm looking at I've got a list up of the anchors. None of them are like aggressive on C-side. Lato, I think is... Yeah, he's a lurker as well. Like, they're all lurkers, man. They're all lurkers. So this is the thing, like, a pack of Yuri and Big Uzera is like Hobbit Electronic on steroids level of not going to work. So that's not happening. That just can't happen. So I would keep Cello, maybe, with Big Uzera. I think, honestly, like, we could make two teams and put them together at the end because it feels harsh on Yuri. But I think in my Big Uzera team, I can't have Yuri. I don't want Yuri. I think I'd rather have, like, literally... Oh, there's so many map control players. There's so many. Shout out to Phelps. He's actually been good. But, like, Insani, dude. Insani. Vinny and Insani. It's just better. It's just better. Insani's that guy. He is that guy.
Wait, hang on. So you're suggesting Vinny, Bigu, Henny, Insani...
No.
Caserato?
No. This is it. Do you think Bigu and Insani could work in a map control pack? Because Insani is the aggressive one.
Listen, mate. I feel like I worked recently because there is no fucking way I was watching that Challenger event. There's no fucking way on God's green earth I was watching an event that shit.
Okay, I've just looked at his roles. Insani plays like Boiler on Inferno, Connector on Overpass, and then like Outside on Nuke, Mid on Ancient, Mid on Anubis. Like, he's in the Space Taker roles, but it could... Hang on. I think he could do it. I'll just check he's not a beta. Let me check he's not a beta. Because obviously he gets his numbers. But Biggie's area is like a 30% openly kill attempts these days.
Who are else in MRBL?
Exits. Which is a weird one because he's a star player IGLing. Star lurker IGLing. It's weird. Very bizarre. Does he still lurk? I think he doesn't lurk anymore. He used to be a lurker. Maybe he's now wrong. But this is what I mean. Like, he's another IGL. It's just weird. Like, it's just weird to talk about. But yeah. And there's also like Lukowski. He's still good. You get Ujo
in the barrel now,
like, you're looking at these aggressive riflers.
Ujo's in the conversation. Very fun. Very fun.
Yeah, like U-Jerks, Insani, Lucalzi. All three of them are sick. And honestly, Lux is pretty good as well. Lux and Bigazoo are clearly worker to pack as well. So these are all good players. And I still think Cello's good. But if you're looking for like the firepower to turn up against FaZe and just actually just wipe them out, like you need Insani. Insani's the one. So I might have to cut Cello. Where did this start? We're talking about anchors. Yeah, so I think it's worth cutting.
So
Yuri.
we were gonna talk about anchors.
Let me put it this way.
We
you
were
can
gonna talk
respond.
about anchors. Okay, yeah. Here you go.
Let me just put it this way. So I would cut Yuri if you could sign one of Insani and U-Jerks and one of Aristose and like Lato. I think you need the firepower from two places if you remove Yuri for like a normal bitch support.
Yeah. Okay. So this is where this was always going to get interesting, because I realised maybe about 10 minutes into this episode, Yuri's actually a problem. Yuri does not deserve to get cut. He does not deserve it. But if you're trying to Dreamland rebuild FURIA to be the best FURIA can be, and make the best Portuguese team where roles work, because it doesn't matter what some fucking gigabrain dickhead says about, well, if they're good, they can adapt. Fuck off. Players
Few players have
really struggle to adapt to new roles. It's good to put people in comfortable roles. And if you think that isn't true, please go and watch Astralis before and after they cut Blameless. Please do that.
Astralis has proved everything we've ever said, by the way. I'm very happy about that. That's aged very well.
Roles will always be incredibly important. So if roles are important, if you're trying to get the best out of the pieces that you can put together in Dreamland, Yuri kind of has to go, doesn't he?
I think he does. Yeah, you're winning
be a
your
star
round
somewhere else. But he can't really hope
to
succeed here. So what we've realised is we don't need a fifth player. We need a fourth and a fifth player. So now
this is the thing with the Dreamland thing, man.
Well, so now we've just got to decide. We've just got to decide, because you just gave us like two possibilities for people that could be there. Who is the fourth and who is the fifth? Do you go for the double Portuguese and then maybe the triple Portuguese to bring in Story, and you just bring in the Saw trio with some Brazilian spice, and then you've got this like fucking powerhouse? Or can you make the powerhouse by sticking to Brazil?
This thing, like, this is how are they playing with Kai? I've literally got the spreadsheet up of Brazilian players, and there's like 10 good players.
Just a reminder,
right now.
Just a reminder.
What are they doing?
And this was a great tweet by Note, by the way, when he had all the fucking things just like placed over Fallen's face. It's just Fallen saying that their scouting is just as good. Like, get fucking real, mate.
Fucking hell,
he's so shit. He's so shit. But yeah, okay. Fourth and fifth. Let's get them locked in.
Let's go.
Are you going for U-Jerks, Aristose? Do U-Jerks and Bigu work as well?
No, I'm having Insani. You're not.
Okay, you're going Insani.
I think, U-Jerks and Bigu is probably better than... Nah. Good players are the ones that kill people more. Insani and Bigu. Fuck it. Not asked. Not asked. Get him in. Just get him in.
Okay.
And now you can respond while I swap the battery on my headphones.
Well, I didn't know about Insani. I turned up at Katowice, and Sleeve fucking grabs me, and all he says to me is, Insani scenes, bro. Then I watched this guy play, and I was like, oh shit, he's the future. So I'm with you on Insani. I've got no issue with Insani. So he's our aggro, gonna go around the corner and blow your fucking brains. Oh no, have you found an issue? Can't just make him a anchor.
So you know how K-Strata is like
failing the Mirage. He's failing the Mirage test, isn't he?
Okay, so no, Mirage, he plays Con. Biggie plays Con.
So he's failed.
We're gonna have three Con players. But the Mirage test
Insani can play aim, mate. He's got the aim for it. aim style in it.
It's... Oh,
I know
bro,
what I'm
it's
talking
not
about.
odd. This
I know
is
what
not
I'm talking
odd.
about.
This is not odd. I mean, the case throughout. Do you know what though? Because of the way Art anchored A or Mirage, case throughout was actually A anchoring. Actually, no, not even true. Not even true. Furia have not had an A anchor for years. They're all for A anchors. Fallen is Furia's A anchor. If you ever watch Furia play Mirage, like Art runs up mid, case throughout is in con like baiting. Yuri's just like running around on short, and then Fallen's just on ticket or ping a ramp, and that's just their setup. That's their default setup. Like 10 rounds a half.
That was
Like
also the joy of
like,
watching.
that's actually what they play. It's insane.
That was the joy of watching Liquid with Nitro as well, because he was just so bad and also on the A side. So OC was just ticket.
It's just...
He just always ticket. So good.
Okay, let me think about this. I might have to flip flop on Insani. He's so good.
No.
Insani is so good. But Big Zero is so good. And I think you have to have only one. I think you have to pick one. And if you have to pick one, which one did you pick? Because honestly, I'm kind of leaning towards Vinny Insani versus like Big Zero Cello. Honestly. I don't really like Star IGLs as a concept. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but if you're going to have a Star IGL, Big Zero is a fucking good Star IGL.
He is a good Star IGL.
Okay, if you have... if you have...
It's hard that.
If you have Vinny Insani, is Yuri back in?
Listen. Yuri's back in, yeah. I think Yuri's back in.
Okay.
You can have Yuri K-Strato on that team.
Okay. So here's Team A. Henny, Yuri, K-Serato, Insani, Vinny. Team B, K-Serato, Big Zero, Henny, Cello. Who's fifth?
Like a Lato, Decenty, Arisdosse. Do Arisdosse. Or like Skulls. Because Liquid are going to cut Skulls. Just get Skulls. Okay.
No, let's not. We're trying to make a good team here.
Fine, Arisdosse. Leave Skulls out of this.
Okay.
Arisdosse then.
And then just
people talk very highly about Lato though, by the way. Nearly put him in.
Well, that's why I was surprised you didn't say Lato then, to be honest.
I mean, maybe the Portuguese thing, like, he's not going to want to move to Brazil. Lato. Fine, Lato.
Okay. And then just for the sake of it, because we have to rein ourselves in at some point, Team C, Yuri, K-Serato, Fallen, Cello, who's your fifth?
Okay.
Is it Lato?
No.
Probably is just Lato, isn't it?
Lato is kind of shit on T side. Is the thing. Like, Lato's actually not that good. Like, people, like, if you talk to a Brazilian, you'd think Lato was, like, the second coming of, like, K-Serato, like, on CT side. And he's, like, a very good anchor, but he's a very good anchor who has a very good CT rating because he just happens to also anchor A on overpass and just farms that fucking map. How have I ended up on this? No. I test decency is better than his stats. Arisdosse would have to, like, move to Brazil, which is hard. But one of those three, I think... Oh, this is a car crash. You're going to say, like, drop, and then it's just going to be over. I like Dumao. Dumao passes every test. He's so good.
I always thought Dumao was aggressive.
Yeah, he is a bit, yeah. But he does
Doesn't
that.
this
They
team
sort of
not
just rolls
need
around.
an aggressive player? Oh, it doesn't.
No, but the Cold Zero team, he's passive now. Like, he's been playing passive roles. And I think Legacy might just be bad at T side because Dumao and Lato both have, like... So Lato, by the way, has a 1.30 CT rating in this sample. Dumao's 1.24. And then T side, Dumao 102, Lato 101. So I think maybe it's a Legacy problem, not them.
Well, as me and Elliot have said for many years, you quite literally cannot have a T side with Cold Zera. It doesn't matter what role he's doing, you just can't do it. It's just fucking impossible.
Great Awper. Great in a lawsuit as well, I've heard. Good luck to you, pal.
Great.
Anyway. I feel like my own eyes would pick Arizose for this last one.
And that
but-
feels realistic, does it? This was the realistic team,
Oh, it
and
was
you've
just
come for the least
shitty
realistic
how
one.
realistic? No, because the realistic one is like Nissim or keeping Kai or something. The realistic one is literally just who's a free agent, who's a Brazilian free agent, like
No,
like
but let's say they
Jota,
have the
or
money.
like one of those players who played
No,
for
but I'm
Loud
not-
for like 2 minutes. One of them.
Jota isn't even a bad shout, but like, surely,
This one, though, please.
surely Fury have the money to buy one player. One
player? Maybe a legacy player actually. I feel like
So it's
Kane
Lato
and
then.
Imperial.
Surely it's Lato.
This is the thing. I think it has to be Lato, but I like Duma.
Okay.
I want to say
what
Duma.
was, what was Team B again? That was the big Zericello one, but was that Lato as well? That was Lato as well.
That was...
Okay.
Okay. What
Okay.
you saying? I'm saying okay.
So we got 3 teams.
I'm
Which is
picking the
the
one with
best one?
Insani, mate. Don't worry.
Which
it's
is
the
the
one with
best one?
Insani on it.
Is it?
It's the one with Insani on it. I think it is. I mean, it's hard. It's gonna look bad because it doesn't have Bigu in it, which is insane. Like we've made a Brazilian dream team without Bigu, but I am pretty adamant that Bigu and Insani create problems if they're on the same team. Like, and not loads. It's not impossible, to be honest. But you've got Queserato, who is still going to want star roles. Like, I think if you put Insani and Bigu on the same team, like, they both just get worse. You don't get what you would have if you just had one star player. Like, one aggressive star. Like, I
Do they
think that
get
just
worse?
works better.
Do they get worse on
It's a
both
kind of like...
sides? Or just CT?
That's the
and
thing.
T it
On
works?
T side, I'm not even sure if Insani and Bigu together would be that big a problem. But like Insani kind of has the donk thing, where if he's entering, you bet your house on he wants to entry. It's an entry pathing he likes in scrims that he gets set up really well for. Like drop is jumping out first. Brennan also loves to just jump out first. They're players who actually do a lot of the entering. Save doesn't have it all very much, and he probably goes ahead of Insani if it's like there's 2 of them. Because Insani's that good. But this is the thing with Bigu as well. Like, Bigu is not first in. Like, he's an aggressive star, but he's not a bomb site entry. He's an opener. They're both openers. So you have to have one. And gun to my head, Insani's like 19. He's nuts. Bigu is a late bloomer who is a really good IGL. He's 27. Are you spending $1 million on another 27-year-old if you're Furia? No. Get Insani. He's like 12. Just get Insani. I'm talking myself into not leaving Bigazera out, and it's head loss. But Insani's a teenager. He's a teenager with like a 1.26 rating, and he wins prestigious events like ESL Melbourne. And there you go. ESL Melbourne,
Okay.
more prestigious than Get Rio. Fuck Get Rio. I don't care you did it with standard Biggie. We're getting Vinny. We're getting Vinny and Insani.
Okay.
Oh. Ugh.
Okay. So, Vinny, Insani, Henny, Queserato, Yuri. How good can this team be, Harry? Because for me, it's a lot better. I'm not sure they're making many playoffs, but I will say,
Come
I'm
on.
not sure that's their fault. I just think there's quite a few good teams.
There are a lot of good teams. Okay, and Sonny's also 20. I'm just checking he's not a fraud
Oh,
against
bloody
good
hell,
teams.
he's a year older.
No.
What? Oh,
We've got a
oh,
problem.
he's fucked it. What's the problem?
So guess his rating against top 10 teams.
Wait, tell me his rating first. Tell me his rating.
All time, 116.
No, just 20. Change it to just 2024.
Oh, yeah. Well, he might not even be a fraud in 2024. I think so. Okay, he's not played a top 10 team in 2024.
Okay, go back then. Go back.
CS2?
116?
CS2.
116.
In CS2, he's got a 1.20 rating. And he's only played 4 maps against top 10 teams.
1.01.
It's 1-1-0 over 4 maps. He's not played at good teams. Like, he's the second coming of Jesus, but he's not played against a good team yet.
Hang on.
He passes my eye test, he's in the team.
No, but 1.20 drop off to 1.10.
Yeah, but it's 4 maps, dude. Like, it's just...
Yeah, but that's not
It's
bad.
not relevant.
It's still not bad. No,
Who, but who is
you
it?
get other
This is the
players.
thing.
You
It's
get
like
other
paying
players,
Payne
though.
twice, right?
No, but you get other players
he
like
even
fucking.
playing?
But you get people like
Yeah, he played
NQZ.
Spirit and Dacho.
You get like NQZ, man. Like NQZ
Played
drops from
VP.
like 1.12 to 0.99. Like Henny and
But
Fallen
you have to
drop
be careful with
But it's
aggressive
similar.
players
It's similar
farming
number of
local
maps, though.
competition, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
aggressive players farming local competition is hard. But it's just that future-proofing angle. He's 20. He's 20 and he's this good.
Honestly, I don't think that's the issue you think it was. Unless that was worse
What,
when
Biggie
it was
being 27?
No. What you just said with the drop-off. Unless the all-time drop-off was massive.
Yeah, like he's a bit of a rating fraud as well. Like he just dies a lot, gets a lot of kills.
You've also got to remember that the like all-time, that's going to include Kato, things like that, from 2023, which is like the first event anyone knew what his name was. Also, while we're on the topics of ratings, BO3 rating puts Fallen higher than Henny. Fun fact.
Well, the free rating is
Includes economy, mate. Includes economy.
it's very hard to include economy, to be fair, I've been
I'm
told.
sure, actually. I'm
very
sure.
difficult.
I've got a message from
Very difficult to
someone.
include economy.
Sure, I've got a message from someone, somewhere, that says, that rating might actually be better than HLTP's. I don't remember who sent me that message. Someone sent me that message. Someone sent me that.
But rating's only as good as the bloke who made it, and best of three. Think they might have got ChatGPT to do it, judging by their articles. So
Okay. Well,
we'll see. But well done for saying
Don't
you include
worry.
the economy. Well done. I'm sure it
I'll
does.
I'll end up having to edit it. Anyway, so I've already said I'm not sure how many playoffs that team would get to, but I don't think that's the fault of them.
Are you Team Biggie then? Biggie Cello?
No, I'm happy with the team. I agree. You've
Because
convinced
I
me.
think
It's one of the rare times you've actually convinced me of something. Because I'm telling you,
Biggie's so
mate,
good, man.
I'm telling you, I'm never wrong. Like, my talent ID, fucking unreal. I've been saying on this fucking shitty podcast for a long time, Deha, worst player in the world.
He's not
fucking
good,
awful.
is he? That's him.
My talent ID's never been wrong. Actually, no, that's a lot. It's been wrong once, and we were both wrong, and that's when we said Hunter was a glorified support player. But to be fair, years later, look at us now. Look at us now.
If you wait long enough. If you wait long enough, even Mo Salah stops being able to be good at football. So let's just keep waiting until everyone we've ever called a fraud is like 35 and shit. So there we go.
Okay, maybe we just fence it. Maybe we just fence it. Okay, Team A, which was the Insani Finny one. How good do you think that team can be?
I think Eddie's really good. I think Yuri's trending upwards. Kesaro is bona fide superstar and doesn't clash at all with Insani. Like, Kesaro and Insani is an unbelievable rifling duo. It's unbelievable. Like, that is just...
And
I don't know if people would say the same about Big U Kesaro, but I think these two clash even less, like, play style wise.
I'm not being funny as well, but considering how much we talk about, like, you know, we'll always do this, you need the solid second star. There's two fucking solid stars there. Then you talk about needing a star Awper. Henny can fucking just take over games all the time. When Henny's on, the shots he hits...
Brokey level X Factor, right?
Like, honestly, when Henny's on, the only person in the world who hits more, like, impossible-looking shots is Munacy. Straight up. Like, some of the shots Henny hits are fucking ridiculous.
Yep.
And then you talk about... And then we always do this, like, oh, yeah, but what's the fourth and fifth piece? Fourth and fifth piece doesn't really matter. It's fucking Lato and Yuri. There's better fucking fourth and fifths than most teams in the world. Like, if
Stacks.
Like, oh no, sorry, it's Vinny and Yuri.
Vinny and Yuri. But Vinny's really good. Like, Vinny's not a bad fragger.
Vinny's no slouch. Yuri's like 1.12 this year against.
Yeah, he's always like 1.10
opponents
ish.
Yeah, it's fucking solid, man. That's better than complexity. It's at least better than complexity.
Oh yeah.
And
you stickers, aren't you?
And we sort of like complexity. We're sort of okay with complexity. That's a good level to be at. They'll make a couple of playoffs a year, and when they don't make playoffs, it's not going to be their fault.
Do you know what it's like? Like, if you have like IEM Rio, home crowds, and that team's in playoffs,
the only reason they wouldn't make playoffs consistently is because playoffs are 6 teams now.
I guess it's just hard to make. Like the sixth best team in the world is like Astralis. That's the 6th best team in the world.
They'd be in playoff for most tournaments. So and that's just Team A. That's without Big Azera, who
that's the best one. Obviously,
might be better.
So the
Team A probably is the best one. I don't disagree. I think Vinny's a really impressive IGL, and the other pieces are very good. But Team B, how much worse do you think Team B is with Big Azera and Cello and Lato?
I mean, do you know what? Genuinely, the thing with Team B, I think you could add Big Azera as the 5th to the current quartet, and it'll be fine. Do you even need Lato? Like, kind of, I guess. Like, because of what I was saying about Yuri, but yeah, anyway, okay, with Lato.
I mean, you can just... I said earlier, you can turn Yuri into fucking shush.
That's what I mean. Like, Yuri just has to anchor on a few more maps, but he plays Pale Inferno and always has. Like, it's not completely out of his skill set. Like, he could be a bit of a turret, but okay. Role conversion aside, we'll keep Lato. I do think it's worse because I think... Why do I think it's worse? What's this? I just don't... I'm not as convinced that Big Azera is going to be a 1.2 rank player for the next 3 years. Like, I just don't see it. Kind of. When you're talking about something like this...
3 years is a fucking long time in Counter-Strike, Harry.
It is, but FURIA signed 8-year contracts.
No, that's fine. I get that. But like,
I thought it's still the same, dude.
But it is. But it's a long time in the sense of like, does he need to be? But okay, so
if you're like,
does he need to be that good in 3 years' time? You know, is someone else going to come through there?
If you're a GM, though, you're setting yourself up to fail.
No, that's fine. But look at the Pain team and the Imperial team that just did well at Copenhagen. Like,
Pain do beat Imperial with worse players.
It's like you would be lying to me if you said you knew who half those players were. Before that.
Imperial and Pain?
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't know because I had to look into it. But...
Yeah, maybe you because you're a freak. But, like...
But most people wouldn't, especially Pain.
Exactly. What's the odds one of them becomes a star? What's the odds more of them crop up? Because that's just how fucking Brazil is. It's a fucking massive country where everyone seems to play fucking either Counter-Strike or football. Or both. Like...
But yeah, so many, man. So many.
Bigu's good enough to have this progression where he slowly drops back. Or he becomes, a kind of Apex Alexi B, more supportive, holding the rock. Does it matter in 3 years' time? Probably not.
He reminds me of Snappy in interviews as well, and we like Snappy, so that's
we do like Snappy, except when he force buys too much.
Happens.
I was convinced that wasn't going to work.
Just give him a star player.
Yeah, give him a star player. Star player would be nice. But yeah, so let's talk about a year, because 3 years is like pointless. Sorry.
No, it's not pointless. No, it's not fucking pointless, because look how old Yuri. Okay, so what you need to think about is, and this is why Falcons, whoever fucking built our Falcons team is insane, by the way, is because, okay, you're not looking at now, you're looking at contract expiries 2 years down the line. You've got Fallen, he's gone, he's retired. Shello's 25, Yuri's 24, Kesarao's 24. So you add a 27-year-old, there's no young blood. There's zero young blood. You need at least like one or two youngsters, because then when Kesarao is 27 and having a little bit of a drop-off, because that happens every time at 27, which is in 3 years' time, and you do need to think this long-term if you're spending this much fucking money, because INSITE will be like one of the best aggressive Brazilian players for most of CS2, you'd imagine, unless he is a joker and we just don't know it yet because he's not played. Whereas Bigu is going to have to be supportive, and when Bigu wants to be supportive in a few years, who are they going to have to sign? Insani, probably, or like Snow or No Way or one of these players. Like, and then you're double dipping. You're spending the money twice.
Okay.
So that's what I think, because I think Bigu would be much more expensive than Vinny.
Because the basis of this video was what's the best Portuguese-speaking team right now.
Yeah.
Short term, how good?
Yeah, Bigu's on it. He's tier 1. think he's more tier 1 proven than Insani. Like right now, that like if you clone the players that are on both and play them against each other, Team B is probably better. Like Big Azir is probably more reliable of a fragger than Insani. That's
okay.
That could be true at the same time as me thinking that Team A is a better investment.
Okay. And finally then, Team C. How good would Team C be? Because that
Team C
is not as good.
Team C
I don't think it's... No, I do think it's probably quite bad, actually. I think that...
TC has a lot bad about it.
Okay. Team A, I think, would take a few more months than Team B. But I think Team A and Team B would consistently be beating the likes of Eternal Fire and Saw and these type of teams. And I think
Bottom
they'd
of the top
always
10.
be... Yeah, I think they're always going to
Like
be
Pain
between...
at 12 right now, by the way.
Yeah, I think they'd always be between 12 and 8. Or 12 and 5. That kind of range.
Yeah.
Team C? Between 20 and 10?
Yeah. Team
where you're
C isn't breaking... Because, like, look at the top 10 right now. Like, the bottom of the top 10 is Eternal Fire, Astralis, VP Heroic, Falcons, Pain, Complexity. That's, like, 6th... That's 7th to 13th is that. And this Furia with, like, an anchor that's slightly better than Kai, like... I don't know, man. I don't know if that's better than... Like, because Heroic and Falcons obviously have been pretty pants.
It beats Falcons.
Like, maybe it's...
Yeah, but
maybe it's like 11th.
Big boost.
This is what I'm saying. Like, I don't think it breaks into that top 10. That top 10 seems like really good, honestly. Like, even Liquid are finding it hard to break into that top 10. Like, they're miles off.
So basically, what we've learned and what we've decided is that if Furia don't go all out and we don't start living in Dreamland, Furia ain't going to be very good and they're going to lose Queserato. And that's the end of Furia. That is just the end of Furia. There is no way
that's the
they
possibility
can
we
recover.
haven't considered is players leaving instead of Furia. I'm saying.
I think if Furia agreed to splash the cash, Queserato would stay and it wouldn't be a question. I think if Furia don't, and they don't improve quickly, he's gone. He won't make the same mistake twice.
Do you know what they gave him when Liquid came for Queserato? Because that Liquid team would be sick if it had Queserato, by the way. Like, it would still be a bit too passive. Fine. It'd be so good. Like, I still think...
Good.
Well, I still don't really understand why... Bit of a sign out. I still don't really know why they went... Like, when they couldn't get Queserato, why they went for Skulls and not someone aggressive. So that Twist could just play a space role. Honestly. Anyway, not really important.
Well, didn't they promise Twist he'd get those roles?
Yeah, like, Twist's down, but then you can see what it's done to Yakinder. Like, he was bad before, but he's so bad now. He's the only one ever entry.
Yeah, but he's shit anyway. Anyway, carry on.
Yeah, I don't know.
What were we talking about? Something about Furia.
Oh, if they were going to be top 10. Yeah, I don't know. The Plan C Furia is not breaking. It's not better than... Is it better than Complexity?
Oh, no. It was...
I don't know.
You said, do you know what they gave Queserato? So you wouldn't leave.
Oh, so Queserato would stay? I mean, surely it's not a new deal, because new deal... They publicised how long those deals are.
You don't know. Right? I thought you were going to say... I thought you were going to drop something. Man. I don't think they gave him fucking anything. I don't think they gave him anything at all.
Just friendship. Yeah, I mean, friendship is powerful.
Well, you say friendship. I think it's probably more something along the lines of art on his knees, but...
Unless it's like a fucking master plan, and it's like, if we bomb them, I'll stay, but if we bomb the major, you cut Art, you cut Gary, and you sign me Insani.
You hang them from the rooftops.
And he goes full, like, 2019 Nico, power play. That's a Queserato I can get behind, but I think he's too nice. He seems too nice.
Yeah, probably.
That's half the problem. He just seems too nice. But if he's too nice, fine. Just get some fucking ruthless GM in and have full and sell you some t-shirts, like maybe literally in the store downstairs, like at the HQ, and then sign a real IG like Vinny.
So, what we've learned. Team B is the better team right now. Team A is the better investment. Team C, Furia will lose Kei Shirato. And with that, because I agree with you, Team A is the one they should go for investment purposes. I think I've got nothing else to say other than Furia need to splash the fucking cash, because we've just made them the best Portuguese team, and it ain't going to come cheap. It just ain't going to come cheap.
Definitely will not. Oh.
So, with that, you know, if you disagree with us and you think Team B is the better investment, tell us why. Other than that, like the video...
Henny's quite old, by the way.
Henny is quite old. We might have to look at it.
Doesn't matter. It's not really the future. Fucking hell.
We're wrapping it up. Fuck Henny. NQZ's in. Maybe. I don't know. If you disagree, if you got your own opinions, let us know. We'll probably stick around this time. Maybe next week we'll talk about why Wicardia is on fraud watch. I've been Sam Animo Mackenzie. He's been Harry Nero Richards. We'll be back. Probably. It might be in a few months. Bye!